Good day,
So,
Meticulous
welcome.
Moments audience. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another amazing session here at the Meticulous Moments podcast, where we facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. And I have a very special guest with me here today. His name is Loui Earl, I believe. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And we are going to
That's
be
it. Yeah,
talking about
that's it.
filmmaking and martial arts. Welcome, Loui. How are you?
I'm good. Very happy to be here. Been looking forward to this for about a week, and yeah, no, glad to finally get started.
Absolutely, absolutely. Louis, you started filmmaking. We had a lovely conversation, guys, by the way. We had an excellent virtual coffee
Yeah.
when we scheduled this interview. And Louis told me that he started in filmmaking when he was about 20 years old. Tell us about how the love for filmmaking developed.
Oh God. Sort of throughout the majority of my life, I've always wanted to do something in film. Like it's sort of always felt like the one thing that I've always wanted to do. Like throughout life, we go through things like, oh, I want to be this, I want to be this. As we get older, we sort of get pushed a bit more towards what we're naturally good at,
Yeah,
and then yeah, that's generally how things go. But so throughout, as long as I can remember, really, I've always wanted to be doing something to do with filmmaking. It's a very long time to figure out what that was.
yeah.
And yeah, when I was about 20 years old, I ended up doing a course at the New York Film Academy for about 4 weeks. Yeah, in
Oh,
May of 2016. To do with film producing because at the time I just sort of looked through a bunch of things you could do in film, and film producing seemed like the most sort of at that moment it appealed to me. As time's gone on, I've tried out other things, I've done other things, but yeah, that's when I started. And then I produced my very first film, which is where I met Joe, who I believe was on last week or the week before.
yeah.
And yeah, we met on that film. I mean, I don't know if it's going to see the light of day again, but it did a little run. And yeah, that was how I essentially started in filmmaking, and the ball's been rolling since.
Fantastic, fantastic. Shout out to Joe Doyle. He was a guest a few weeks ago. And also
Always,
shout out to Stephen Sattersfield. He's our common friend. We all
oh,
know each
always
other.
love Steven.
Yeah, shout out
Mm,
to them. So,
big, big fan, big fan.
yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. We
Mm.
talked about the fact that you were kind of on the producing side of filmmaking, and then you decided in 2017, 2018 to go over to screenwriting. What was that transition like?
I mean, at the time, like I'd been producing films for about a year at that point. I think by 2017, I had that one feature I mentioned earlier and a couple of short films with Joe under my belt.
Yeah.
I think the second one actually finished, or, like wrapped production entirely in 2018, but we shot it during 2017, if memory serves.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd gone to a point where I had some ideas, and then the way I thought about it then was like, no, I'm a producer, I produce, and this is what I should focus the limited time and attention I have on because I've got to do other things, I've got to work, I've got to do everything else that comes with life. And at some point, I just decided to give writing a go. I can't remember how, but I ended up getting a copy of what's the name of the program, Final Draft, and yeah, I was playing around with it. I wrote something which, in hindsight, wasn't very good, but I had a lot of fun doing it. And then I sort of realized I sort of knew this anyway, but like as time went on, I realized I was more naturally suited to the creative side of filmmaking rather than the business side. I mean, I'm terrible at maths, so I have no idea why I went in that direction in the first place. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I've got like the most creative satisfaction from screenwriting. And the more I've moved in that direction, the more I've sort of felt more satisfied, more happy. I'm nowhere near the finished product. It's been what 5, 6 years, and with something like screenwriting, you get better with time. So it gets easier, it gets better as you get older. You watch more, you write more, you consume more, you learn more, and
Yeah.
yeah, I believe screenwriting. And I've never really looked back. I've never really thought, oh no, maybe I shouldn't do this. I should go back to producing. Or I should learn how to put lights up, or I should paint sets, or something like that. It's always
Yeah.
been sort of where I felt most at home in a manner of speaking. And yeah, no,
Good.
that's why I chose screenwriting. And then sort of
Good.
about by about by about 2020, I sort of realized that it was only really worth my time pursuing screenwriting and sort of moving in the direction of scripts rather than
Yeah.
producing and sort of organizing shoots, budgets, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a good transition because you kind of found your niche. You love what you do. You enjoy every moment, and that's very important to me as well. The things so that we do must be things that we are passionate about. So you're passionate about script development work. You're passionate about script reading and also acting.
Oh, yeah.
Have you acted before? Tell the audience.
No, I've not really acted before, but I mean, it's never really been something I've been super interested in. I mean, it's one of those things you go through when you're like when you're a young teenager. Oh, I could do this. I should do
Yeah,
this. And then I sort of realized as time went on, I don't really want to do this. I mean, it's like the more I've discovered about acting, the more I sort of spent time around actors. God
yeah,
bless them, but it's just not the life for me. I mean, it takes a lot to be an actor. I have a lot of respect for it. Like, it's very, very tough. Like,
absolutely.
mentally, it's very tough physically as well. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not really for me. And I've sort of like found my thing in screenwriting and sort of script development. So ever since, I've never really sort of seen a reason to sort of go off that path in the film world. Like, I've sort of never really, acting's not really appealed to me for a long time. So, yeah, no,
Yeah.
just screenwriting and script development for me.
Good, good. You like to make the magic happen behind the scenes. I mean, because what is a
Mm,
film? What is a production without the script, right? What does it come to then? You kind of create the magic before it
exactly.
sees the light of day. So that's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing. But you also have
Mm.
other talents. You like photography, you like videography. What is your experience
Love
like
it.
with regards to those aspects?
Most recently, to work backwards, I've been doing photography for a jiu-jitsu gym that I'm a part of. I'm quite a regular contributor to the social media page. I run the social media page at points, and yeah, so that's been a very interesting few months. It's been sort of more sport-based rather than sort of arty and
Yeah,
sort of art exhibitions, which I was doing before. But I hadn't done any photography for like ages and ages because I'd done other things in between and like sort of life got in the way, pandemics and stuff like that. And yeah, no, I got into that. I got into photographing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu about 3 months ago. And no, it's been a lot of fun. It's taught me a lot in terms of like photographing moving
yeah,
subjects, photographing things in action, and sort of even while I'm not photographing, just sort of looking through photographs and sort of deciding, okay, this looks cool, but like, what's wrong with it? Like, are the faces
yeah,
obscured? Are the faces weird? Are the is the angle right? There's
yeah,
so certain other things like having somebody's leg like sort of directly in front of the camera, like my hand is
yeah.
kind of ugly as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, you learn those things slowly. It's made me a lot better photographer. I'm sort of trying to do more. So this is my unofficial hiring call. If anybody wants a sports photographer, I am right here.
He's right
Yeah.
here, guys. And we're going to make his social media handles available after this session and on the post as well.
Mm,
Now, talking again about the scripts, because we're going to move into martial arts as well. You do jiu-jitsu, and that's something that I'm very
of course,
passionate
man.
about as well. I want to ask
All
about,
right. Yeah.
yeah, I want to ask about, the scripts that you write, the scripts that you work with, that you edit, that you look
Mm,
for. Are they all in the
yeah,
same
yeah.
genre? Or are there different genres that you work with? What's the best for you?
Um, because I tend to work with production companies and individuals, if the individuals like Joe, for example, Joe's very so straightforward. I like thrillers, I like action thrillers, and this is what I
Yeah,
do. I know that if I get something sent something by Joe, 9 times out of 10, it's going to fall into one, two, or three of those categories. So that's one side of it. But when I've worked with production companies, I've had a litany of stuff. I've had everything from like 30-minute sitcom pilots right through to like 2 hour horror films. So
yeah,
it's a really interesting experience because you sort of learn about the genres, you learn about people's writing styles, and then at the same time, you sort of learn about things in stories which are universal, which sort of make a story good across any genre. which makes story interesting, characterization interesting, anything of that nature. Yeah, I mean, the project that you and me are linked on, Marty Murray, is a very interesting version of the thriller film, which I haven't seen for a long, long time.
Yes.
Big shout out to Steven Satterfield and Marty Murray coming soon.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, point being, like, you get a whole range of interesting things, like when people let their minds work, when people
Mm-hmm.
put pen to paper, whether it's one draft or 17 drafts, eventually you get something interesting, something unique for good reasons, occasionally bad reasons as well. But like from my point of view, it's a really interesting educational experience as a writer because
Mm-hmm.
you sort of learn from other people's mistakes, but you also learn through their successes as well. Like some people are great at some things, but they're not so good at others. And whereas some people are terrible at five things, but they're really good at one thing,
Yeah.
and you get everything in between. So it's a really interesting educational experience from a screenwriting perspective and from a
Yeah.
storytelling perspective. It's fascinating as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. I agree. You know, working with different genres really
Mm.
shapes us into even better screenwriters. And it gives us that foundational aspect, you know, because if you work with all these genres, you get into that flow where you can literally write anything. I think it's very important for upcoming
Mm.
screenwriters out there to really expose themselves to all the genres. I know we're bound to have a favorite. That's a given, but also
Definitely.
just as your own development, you know, like you mentioned, just venture into a little bit of the extra, you know, the extra fields and genres that's out there as well. I think that's very, very important. Now, you mentioned, and I wanted to ask you about that. You mentioned that you submitted a script to Nickelodeon, I believe. I remember something about
Yeah,
Nickelodeon. Can tell us more.
yeah. So back in 2020, Nickelodeon, I think they run it every year. I don't know if I've missed the advert for it this year, or I'm just not aware of it or whatever. But anyway, Nickelodeon runs a sort of screenwriting competition. It's got a specific name, but I don't remember it right now.
Yeah.
But I wrote, as part of the assignments that year, which I think is the same every year, one of
Mm-hmm.
them was to write an original episode of something that's already established, which I chose. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I wrote an episode which I need to read it back, and a few years have gone by to see if it was any good.
Yeah.
But I also wrote a pilot about three guys in Tennessee who, well, they don't like, they're youngish. They're sort of like on that cusp of thing. They're not really sort of grown men, but at the same time, they're not teenagers anymore. They're sort of like still trying to find their place in the world, and all the silly things they get up to, all the things that happen around them in their families, with each other, with their other friends, things
Yeah.
that have happened in their past. And I wrote it quite quickly. It was just an idea I had based on a silly little skit at one point, and it sort of developed into a 30-minute pilot. It was totally similar to Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but like in actuality, it's a mockumentary sitcom. So it's more like Parks and Rec. It's more like Trailer Park Boys. It's more like The Office. Not to the same
I
extent as
love
the
the
other two.
office.
Like there's a
Yeah.
bit of The Office in there. Oh, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, and it was sort of quite a quickly written first draft. Needless to say, I didn't win. Needless to say, I didn't progress that far through the
Yeah.
competition, but I like the idea that I made. And over the last year, I've developed episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5 so far. So you have a
Okay.
pilot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
And no, I've left it I've left it to settle for the last month or so, but I mean, it's been sort of the quickest I've written anything for like a long time. It's been the first time I've sort of written series, so it's
Good.
been second time actually. It's the first time I've written a comedy series, so it's been a really fun experience, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping with more time, with more attention, that it can hopefully get developed, and hopefully somebody's interested in it. I'll take it at this point. So, yeah, no,
Good.
it's been a really gratifying experience.
Good. Love it. Love it. You challenge yourself. You're always developing. By the way,
Um,
I absolutely love The Office. I could binge watch The Office if I had the
oh
time
man,
all day. I love it. It's so
oh,
funny, like
love
the
it,
humor.
genius, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
It's a trip, it's just there's always
Oh
something
gosh.
waiting. You never know what to expect. But you
Mm,
and I and Joe, we're involved with Marty Murray, with Steven Satterfield.
mm.
Other upcoming projects are you working on that you would like to tell the audience about?
Aside from the stuff I've written, I mean, I've just been for the last month or so, I've just been sending things to agents, just sort of trying to get feedback and bounce the ball off people, even just to make people know my name, even if it's just an annoying email.
Yeah.
That's been most of my objective for the last month. And yeah, once this is over, I'm going to do a few more. Yeah, no, I've been getting some useful feedback. I've been getting some useful feedback about navigating the industry as well.
Hmm.
And no, I've been quite surprised. Obviously, not everything's been, oh yeah, we love it, we'll have it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I've been surprised at people actually replying because a lot of the time you think that when you send something to an agent and it's not from somebody they recognize or it's not from a manager or something like that, they're just going to put it straight in their bin or their spam folder or they'll print it out and use it as, what do you call it, like a coffee map for the next 6 months until they're done with it. But no, it's been good in that sense. It's been sort of quite satisfying to sort of get those responses and to sort of feel like I'm moving in the right direction. So yeah, no, it's the first step on a long journey. So I'm quite pleased with it, and that's where it's going. In terms of other projects, there's another project I'm developing with a friend who I met at the New York Film Academy all those years ago, and yeah, I'm writing episode 3. We've got about
Ooh,
2 done so far, and hopefully over this weekend or as time allows itself, going to keep writing some of that with him. And no, it's been a fun experience. He's always fun to work with. So yeah, no, it's just sort of moving less from okay, I'm just writing things I enjoy to okay, let's write things I enjoy. But
good.
now let's sort of try and move in the direction I want them to go in, rather than just
Yeah.
write things and hope one day that the right person asks the right question, I can show them my script. Because I've
Yeah.
just shown them my script anyway. Maybe they don't get it this time, but hey, at least they know this guy writes something and this guy is um in front of me right now, and maybe I should read his next thing even if I don't like this thing. So yeah, it's just starting the conversation, getting the ball rolling. Really.
What you said is very valuable for screenwriters out there that are established as well as those that are up and coming.
Mm.
I always respond to scripts that are sent to me. I always respond. I think it's just a dignified thing to do. I actually
Mm.
go and I read them. And I had a young group of individuals sending me a script last week, and I read it. It was amazing. And we
Mm.
started talking about the concept, and they haven't cast it yet. And, we're still talking budget, but I was so happy to receive that script because it was so refreshing. It was really something very, very meticulously. I love that word put together. So, we'll see where that
Right.
goes. But I always answer those emails. I always actually go and sit and I do read that script. I think it's very important. We
Mm.
cannot just go and see the email and say, okay, well, maybe I don't like the title of the script or I'm not sure about the concept. Go open the document, read that script, and it's only the script that's going to tell you if it's a yes or no, because it's all about how it speaks
Or,
to you. The script has a voice, and I enjoy that. I absolutely enjoy that, and I want to ask you, if you have
Mhm.
wisdom or words of encouragement for screenwriters out there that are sending their scripts out, maybe not getting as much response as they would like to. What would you tell them if they were here in the meeting with us today?
Keep trying. I mean,
Yeah.
if you really want to do this, and if you really want to, if this is something you actually want, I mean, maybe this isn't the way to do it for you, the way that I'm doing it right now, but there's other ways. I mean, maybe you want to go back to film school, maybe you want to buy a new book, maybe you want to do something. But I mean, this isn't really the type of world or type of business where you can sort of let rejection stop you. I mean, some of the sort of more fearsome looking people in my life I've met, and like some of them are completely terrified of rejection. Like they will not leave their house, they will not try and sort of push things out of their circle of friends. They want feedback because they don't like the idea of going to an audition or going to an agent or going to produce or whatever, and somebody saying, yeah, this isn't for me, or not this time, or I'm not interested. And it's like, well, it's not going to be for everybody. And there's 100 stories out there of people who been rejected million thousands of times or whatever, but like they just kept going, and eventually all it took was one. And maybe your story isn't perfect, so that doesn't mean that it won't be better in the next 40 drafts. And yeah, I think it's not a sport. It's not like you hit the age of 36 and you've got to start thinking about the next chapter. It's like, well, you can keep trying, like you can keep going, and it's a long game unless you've got a rich uncle or family connections. Your grandfather owns Warner Brothers or something. Like, it's gonna be more difficult, as I found out the hard way at times. But you've got to just keep going. Like, you don't really have any other choice if you want to do this. I mean, like quitting isn't really an option. And if you do quit, you kind of got to realize the consequences of quitting. And is this what you want? Is this, and if it isn't what you want, you've just got to keep going, I think. I mean, it's not a sport. Like, there's not a time window on it. You can only get better with time if you apply yourself. So, yeah, just keep going. Like better wording.
I agree. Keep going at it, and every time you receive a no, or maybe you feel rejected, or it's a not now, it gets you closer to a yes. So never stop creating. I think that's the biggest thing. When people get a no or two, or maybe 100 no's, they stop creating, and they really start to internalize that rejection, and they think it's them. It's not them. Sometimes you just have to pivot a little bit, change your focus, change your writing style, maybe just adapt it a little bit. And that an audience, that's what Loui and I do. We look at scripts and we read them and we give suggestions and we assist with the process. So reach out to Loui. Please do that if you want your scripts to be looked at and to be, just to get those pointers back, because it's always good for people like us to look at those scripts and to give that advice. It's all in good, in faith, with a pure, beautiful attitude. It's just to help. So I would really encourage the audience to do that. And, you talked about the fact that you also do martial arts, jiu-jitsu. And I love jiu-jitsu. My goodness, it's one of my favorite parts of what we do at the dojo. So tell us how that started. We would love to know.
I started doing jiu-jitsu about 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago now. I'd done a little bit of traditional jiu-jitsu in university, but like I did it very sparingly, no pun intended. Like I'd do it maybe like once a week, maybe a couple of times a month or something. I enjoyed it, but like once I graduated, I was sort of, my head was completely elsewhere for like a year, and then due to some changes in circumstances around 2018, I got back into doing jiu-jitsu because there was like a once or twice a week class at the gym I was at the time. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I was getting a bit bored of lifting weights, and no, about 5 years later, we're at now. It's been a really fun experience. It's been a sort of really gratifying experience. It sounds very cheesy and cliched, but like it's benefited other areas of my life greatly as well, creatively, professionally, personally. No, it's been a lot of fun. I've made a lot of friends, and it's been a real sort of positive, ongoing sense of achievement. So, no, it's great. I mean, it's been challenging at times, like everything, but no, it's really good. It's been really gratifying as a whole. I'd recommend it to anybody, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think, I'm a firm believer of, that we should choose wisely how we spend our energy, because, energy you cannot do away with energy. Energy can just be transferred, and it can be changed, and it can be enhanced. And I really feel that when we get into that flow of the martial arts, the energy that we carry, how we conduct ourselves, how we think about things, all of that changes for the better. It's a positive change. And it's good to hear that you started, you took a little break, but that you went back and you started it again. Because when you start, it's really a life-changing experience. And I was very happy to hear that you also do martial arts. I love to talk to people about that. I love to talk to guests about that. Now, some guidelines that we can maybe apply in life, whether it be with screenwriting, whether it be with martial arts. What are some guidelines that you would like to, tell the audience or leave with the audience for really following your passion and really being that creative spirit that you are?
Um, Going back to what we said about screenwriting thing, I mean, if this matters to you, if it's important to you, don't give up. Like, do whatever's necessary. Have the humility to step back and learn when it's time to do that. Um, to quote Ice Cube, check yourself before you wreck yourself, I suppose. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, a lot of these creative pursuits, it's a long-term game. Like, unless you are really well connected, which the vast majority of us aren't. Like, unless you are like, unless you're sitting on $10 million you that nobody minds what you do with, which most of us don't. You're not. It's going to take a long time before you get these dreamy opportunities. It's going to take a long time before you get to whatever you consider success to be. And yeah, work out what you consider success to be. And sometimes it's not always a linear path. It's not always straightforward in how to get there. But if you really want it, and if you're willing to do what it takes, and if you're willing to face rejection, you're willing to face the idea that you might not be as good as you think you are sometimes, and that maybe you're not always getting the best advice, maybe you're not always taking the best advice. If you've got the humility to sort of to endure, and you've got the humility to learn, um, that's probably what's going to take you the furthest. I mean, I guess I've learned that a bit through jujitsu as well. Like, there's nothing like being sort of caught deep in a choke to sort of make you really assess like what staying calm means and sort of what it means to like escape your problems or sort of deal with your problems when they're right in front of you. But no, I think without getting overly esoteric, I think that yeah, you've got to be tough, for lack of better wording, and it's
Yeah.
not physically tough; it's mentally tough, and it's at times maybe physically tough as well. But like 90% of it is mental toughness because
Mental.
it's a tough life, it's a tough discipline, and it's different for everybody. Everybody's demands are different, everybody's opportunities are different, and
True.
yeah, once you've developed that sort of mental toughness, self-awareness, and sort of willingness to keep going, that even if there are people around you either easier than you, who progress faster than you, or who progress in different ways, if you don't let that upset you and pull you down, well, more power to you. You can't if that's what you really want. So yeah, just don't give up on yourself more than anything.
I love that. Absolutely. Having that tenacity and really realizing that, difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. It's not always the case. It
Um,
has happened before that, individuals write scripts and it gets accepted and the movie is made and there we go, it's done. But it's also sometimes the case, like you mentioned, the script is written, it's changed a little bit, and it takes a while to get and, bring the movie to life. And that doesn't mean that we should give up in the process thereof. It just means that we should be, like you said, humble but also tenacious. And I think the most important part of what you mentioned
always.
is the mental aspect in sports, in martial arts, in life, in every aspect of what we do. It's all about how you process in your mental space, how you process what you're going through and how you stay present. I think a lot of the time people make big mistakes, and I've made those same mistakes. They either live in the past or they're so focused on the future they forget about the now. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't think about the future. I'm not saying people shouldn't look ahead and make plans and have goals. What I'm saying is live in the moment, live in the now, because all we really have is what we are doing now, and that determines what our future is going to look like. I always say to people, to the people that I engage with, I say, the choices we make is the life that we live. Make sure you are present so that you can make sure in the moment you make the right choices. And you've really touched on a lot of that today. Are there any words of wisdom you want to leave with the audience Before we close this session, what would you like to leave them with as a final comment here today?
Right off the bat, Marty Murray coming soon. Aside from that, thank you for listening, I suppose. Thank you, Juanita, for having me. Thank you for Stephen for setting us up, and go a little bit further back. Thank you to Joe for introducing us to Stephen and for being a part of this project. Yeah, keep tuning in every week, and yeah, keep at it, people, I suppose.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Loui. We appreciate you. And yes, guys, keep a lookout for Marty Murray. We are very, very busy behind the scenes with this project, and we are excited. Joe Doyle is a part of it. Loui is a part of it. Stephen Satterfield, of course, he's a part of it. He started it all. So I'm a part of it, and we are very excited about what's going to come in the future. Now, I want to ask you, Loui, how can, the audience, how can they support you in what you do as we close? Where can they find you? Are you mostly on Facebook, or do you prefer other platforms?
My Facebook account's personal, so I don't really open it to people. But I mean, if you send me a message, there's a good chance I'll probably reply. Best way to contact me, probably Instagram at Loui, my first name, all lowercase, makes, all lowercase again, films _. So Loui makes films _ on Instagram. That's probably the best place to find me professionally speaking. Yeah, that's the one, really.
Good. Well, there you have it, Meticulous Moments audience. It was a lovely session with Loui. Check him out, and please keep a lookout on this space. We're going to do great things. And Loui, it was lovely to spend time with you. Thank you for keeping it real. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're the #1 fastest growing community and tribe of some of the highest level entrepreneurs all around the country and around the world. We're in 36 states across the U.S., in 11 international countries, and over 240 plus members, growing every single day. And I'm honored, excited, and I'm glad to say that I'm proud to be the official sponsor of the Meticulous Moments podcast with Juanita Kapp. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm excited for this journey.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Super excited to be here with you today. The name is David Vrablik, and I am the founder and president of New Beginnings Motivation, and we are super excited to announce that we are teaming up and coming alongside to be a sponsor for Meticulous Moments with Juanita Kapp. This was an absolute joy to be able to come and to be able to be a sponsorship with her, not only because I believe in what she's doing and all the powerful moments that she's providing her community and the fact that she's invited me on her show a couple of times, but I'm also excited because she's a part of the family within the New Beginnings Motivation team. And it was a no-brainer when we had this conversation about teaming up with her. And so it is with an extreme honor that myself personally teaming up with Juanita Kapp. So super excited and much love, sister.
Thought-Provoking Change and Jonathan Ellis, the champion maker, are proud sponsors of Meticulous Moments and Juanita Kapp. Head on over now to thoughtprovokingchange.com/opportunity and join us today, where alongside myself, Jonathan Ellis, the champion maker, and our team of highly qualified, incredible individuals will help you pull out the champion within yourself. We're here to bring out the champion that we know lives inside of you, that you may be challenged to manifest and to bring into your forefront. Join us today and align with us to help yourself level up and see what you can bring to the community at large. We're always looking for highly qualified individuals. This is an application-only process. So head on over today, put in your information, and let's communicate. And let's see if you are a fit for us, and we are a fit for you. We look forward to welcoming you inside the community now.
Hey everybody, my name is Patrick Rude. I'm the owner of Rude Financial Services, a proud sponsor of the Meticulous Moments podcast, hosted and directed by the beautiful, strong, and intelligent Juanita Kapp. I cannot tell you enough about what this woman has done with this podcast and the effect that she has had on me and all of the other sponsors and people that listen. Don't miss it.